FUEL is the #1 trending issue in Nigeria, both on and off social media, right there at the top. Whether you're driving across, you'd see fuel queues that have, of course, caused, gridlocks on our roads. And a lot of Nigerians are wondering, what is going on? Is this our new normal? Is this what we're now going to get used to? Because it's been on for weeks and it looks like it's not letting. Add to that, the admittance by the NNPC Limited yesterday that, well, yes, we're owing. We have cash issues, okay? Yes, you got us. $6 billion plus is what we're owing. Add to that, the under recoveries, shortfalls, subsidy, let's just use that term, that has been a back and forth ever since. The Port Harcourt refinery is still in the mix. Yes, September is here. There's a lot going on right now, but let's get the experts to speak to this. We're joined on the program by Mr. Martin Anovo, a petroleum engineer. Good morning, Mr. Anovo. Welcome to the morning brief.
Good morning.
I see a smile on your face. It's looked like the smile that will come before the hard issues or the hard-hitting, issues. So let's get straight to the point, because Nigerians have spent hours on fuel queues, so they just want solutions, right? This admittance by the NNPC Limited on the one hand, please, how does it change anything? How can we resolve this? I want us to start at the end, then we'll walk all the way back.
I like your choice of words, admittance, because this has leaked nearly a month ago, and it was denied.
Right.
So that introduces the major issue, which is the integrity issue, because he has been previously denied, even though it was technically denied. Now that they have admitted, we can start thinking about how to fix it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that the actual logistics, because we don't know the details of the logistics situation now. What I mean is, do you have a vessel coming with products? Do you have a vessel already in our shores with products? Are you lightering as we are talking? We don't have those details.
Well, the report is that there are a couple of them, but they don't want to deliver or supply because of the debt issues.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, have they been purchased? Are they within our territory? Because if you have not paid and there's no consignment assigned to you already, then you're talking over 20 days to get here.
Like 20 days from now?
Yes, to get here.
Right.
If you're taking off from Belgium and you're coming here, then you're talking like 20 days to get here. So that's why I'm saying that, is it on the sea? Is it...
No, what we understand is that they are already, close by. In fact,
no, that's easy now. That's easy. That's very easy now. If they're close by, that's easy now. All you do is you light and you're in your depots.
Where would you get the money from? Now that they're saying that,
no, that's easy now. That's easy.
It is?
You're talking about a national oil company. I mean, you have been borrowing money previously. You borrow again. I mean, in the shortfall. But until we do the right things,
right,
we're not going to get the right results. And what happens is that when we make the first deviation, you won't see the full effect. Then people who see it will raise the alarm that, you're going in the right direction. But because the effect is not on the street, people will say maybe it's an alarmist.
So this has been a long time.
That's what I'm saying. We've had these issues. This particular issue of fuel shortage, NNPC, lack of effectiveness and efficiency has been with us for 30 years.
But they've been saying logistics, thunderstorms. They've been saying things like we have supply for that. The usual rhetoric. So all of those things have been lies?
Well, you have to take each one, because if you have supply for 30 days, that gives you room. I mean, that means for the next 30 days, you're not going to have problems. And that means you should take action to make sure that after 30 days, you're okay. But in the 30 days, you're sure of yourself. But since this is a recurrent issue, so you have to schedule your supplies in such a way you don't have hiccups. And they're not the only ones doing these things. Even in the production companies, we do that. We have tanks, we produce into our tanks. We schedule our loading so that the tanks are not full. Because if the tanks are full, you shut down. And we don't shut down because we schedule them properly. So when you talk about competence, it seems to have no meaning in Nigeria. It seems to be more meaningful in Nigeria that I know Kayode and he's in charge. Nobody's thinking about competence. So if you don't have competence, you're going to have performance failures. And that's what you're having. Because you're saying logistics. Logistics done all over the world. Are you the only one doing logistics? Why is your own logistics always failing? There's something you're not doing right. I've been in the industry for 30 years. I've never heard that we short production because our tanks were full. No, because you schedule your loading. I mean, this is commonsensical.
Help us break it down, because even when, perhaps, without coming to their defense, when NNPC is saying the truth, it appears like it's a lie. Because they've told too many lies in the past. They've lost credibility. Because there's even a basic argument as to the quantity. They are saying about 800,000 tons is what we need. People are saying it's half that amount. So there's even that argument as to how much fuel we consume. Their numbers are even in doubt. How do we get ourselves out of a situation where the managers of our cash cow, we can't believe anything that comes out of their mouths? Well, because that is a perception. I'm not saying that is the truth.
You may not like this, but I think I'll blame the media for that. Why do I say this? Because you are the ones that grant them interviews, so you have the opportunity to ask these questions.
The ones that agree to come.
The ones that agree to come.
I can put it on record that for all of the invites
we have not seen Melekere, we have not seen the CFO, we have not seen the group communication manager, we have not seen anybody. We're ready to talk to them.
So because these numbers are simple, an honest secondary school mathematics student can crunch these numbers. I mean, it's not the exact same amount you consume every day. It's an average. So what do? How much have we used in a month? You divide it by 30 or 31. You have the daily cost. It is that simple. All these things they make look mysterious are not mysterious. I've worked in Europe. I've worked in the US. I've worked here in Africa. It is only here that these things are issues. This is the simplest level.
So are you saying that the problem we have
is corruption?
Is a leadership and corruption
It's corruption problem.
So let's start tackling that issue.
And that is why you can go to someone's house and you find $9 million. And the media thinks that it's just an isolated case. And every day, millions of dollars. You didn't find 9 million naira, you found $9 million. In someone's house, an individual.
Mr. Novo, the reason we're having this conversation is that for the ordinary, regular, I don't like to use the word ordinary, the regular Nigerian, you just look at the queues. Look at the queues.
I suffered it too.
Look at the queues. And it's going to get worse today, given that release by the NNPCL. To the regular Nigerian who doesn't understand corporate finance and all the numbers and economics, who doesn't understand the details of the oil and gas industry, for him or her, what works, that the system is working, is that they get to a filling station, they don't have to queue like this, and they get there, they buy it at affordable price or rate. But those two realities are evasive to them. Everything now is now difficult for them. So where do we start to address this head on? The president has to take responsibility, we must say, because the Minister of Petroleum.
You have helped me to answer the question. And let me tell you, even if you were not the Minister of Petroleum, when you take that position, it's not I can do it. It's a lot of work because you become Chief Responsibility Officer. Before this discussion now, you had a security discussion. Security is failing. Energy supply is failing. Everything is failing. And you are Chief Responsibility Officer. What happened in the US? Donald Trump got shot by one crazy guy. What do you call that agency? The security agency. The one that's the Secret Service, thank you. The Secret Service boss had to resign. Did she shoot anybody? She didn't shoot anybody, but that's taking responsibility. Do you have that culture? If you're made to take responsibility, then you sit up. If you're president, you're not only Minister for Petroleum, you're Minister for Finance. Because all those people are your agents. So you're Chief Responsibility Officer. So it's not I can do it, I can do it. You don't have WAEC, you say you can do it. How are you going to do it? It takes skills and knowledge. It takes experience. That was the same thing your security consultant told you. So these things, when I left the University of Houston and joined the oil industry, of course I had done IT here and I knew a few things. But I didn't come with all the knowledge. You learn a lot of these things on the job. So that's where experience comes in. That's where the training and the skills come in. So what we do in Nigeria is that we deliberately do the wrong thing out of convenience. Then it goes wrong, we start analyzing why it went wrong. It won't go wrong if you do the right things.
You know, consequences.
Just 2 more sentences, please.
Right, go ahead.
Ghana is refining. They did their own turnaround maintenance. The whole world did not hear about it. The professionals did it. It was properly done, and they are producing. Niger Republic is refining. It is in Nigeria that you people have all these fantastic stories.
All of us have. You're Nigerian.
I'm not part of these stories. I'm Nigerian, but I'm not part of the stories.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not part of the stories.
I want us to put up this visuals, this image. This is this morning, right?
This is, yeah.
The filling station in Alakwere. You see how the queue stretches all the way. We're not at the filling station.
The traffic on Lekki Egbe Expressway Road is caused by...
So this is what Nigerians are going through. See all vehicles, different shapes, sizes, commercial vehicles, private
My
vehicles.
Uber driver friend told me he goes to queue at 4:30.
At 4:30.
Uh-huh.
So this is a
wake
full-time job for Nigerians right now. An oil-producing country with refineries, not one refinery, refineries. Like
With the 7th biggest refineries now.
there is no need for us. There is no reason, no excuse for us to be here. So this is what Nigerians are feeling, and they've said that Nigerians are very wonderful people. Whatever comes, we take it. Fela sang that song decades ago, suffering and smiling. That's what's still happening right now. So I want us to find a way to fix this, Mr. Novo. You are not the minister of...
No, it's simple to fix.
But let me quickly read what the NNPC Limited said. Pardon me. It said in that statement that in line with the PIA, NNPC remains dedicated to its role as the supplier of last resort, ensuring national energy security. Please hold that in one hand. Goes on to say, we are actively collaborating with relevant government agencies and other stakeholders to maintain a consistent supply of petroleum products nationwide. How will that be done? Consistent supply. We are not saying this consistent.
It is simple, and it's been done in the past. The Bishop of Ekiti, he said, put the right people in the right positions and things will go right. It's that simple. Incompetence has a cost. This is part of the cost. Corruption has a cost. This is part of the cost. It's that simple. You do it right, it goes right. Nobody, the media will not even know. Because they won't have this situation that will alarm them, and then they start doing a program. What is going on? The products will be at the filling station, and whether you are refining here or not, because refining here gives you the economic advantage. Yeah. But all is about supply. If you're importing, you import, you load your depots. The tankers go to your depot and supply the retail stations. I go to the retail station, I buy. Kayode goes there, he buys. It's that simple. So, and then from your experience with the system, with the particular system you're managing, you know the redundancies, you know the capacities. Then you make sure it doesn't fail. You know your buffers. What is your buffer? Buffer is what you have in your storage that you're able to keep supplying, like the 30-day supply. If you have 30 days supply, you know that in the next 30 days, I don't have any problem. Yeah. I have to provide for after the 30 days. So if I know it takes me 20 days to get supply, then I already know that by the time my next supply comes, I'm only 10 days left. So that's what you manage. It's that simple.
So, Mr. Novo, since it's not a culture to fire people, we have the president who cannot be fired. He's our president.
You can fire him. Yeah. Impeachment is fire.
I don't want to get into that conversation. We have the Minister of State for Petroleum, Oil, what's it, Henneke Lekobri, for gas, Ekperikpe. We have Mele Kyari for the NNPCL. We have Gbenga Komolafe for NUPRC. Ahmed, forgotten his full name now, for the NMDPRO. Leaving the president, for instance, who should we fire?
Well, for this one specifically, is NNPC.
Okay.
It's NNPC specifically for this one, because like Kayode read, it's their responsibility. And they are the sole importers at today. Anybody who is importing on their behalf. That's for PMS. For diesel, yes, you can go and import. But for PMS that is still kind of controlled, if you're importing on their behalf because they commissioned you to import for them. So, in
spite of the PIA and the fact that they say it's open.
Well, you don't want to run a PIA that is on this your studio. I went against the PIA, and I was the only voice in the whole country that time, because we like all this excitement that we have fixed a problem and we celebrate when we have done nothing. In this studio, I insisted that the PIA was inappropriate and it was not properly structured. So let's not even go there. But,
no. Which parts? Just quickly. Which parts?
There are too many parts.
One that ties to what you're saying about importation.
There are too many parts, because the main thing is, what is your basis? That's your foundation. When it goes wrong, anything you're putting on top of it is wrong. For example, The ruling party in their manifesto, I have a copy, signed by their national chairman, talked in 2014, 2015 about maintaining the refineries and building additional ones. That's what I still doing till now. We're still importing. 9 years after. This is the 10th year. So it's either they're incompetent or they're dishonest. It's one of the two.
It could be both.
It could be both. Excellent. It could be both. So what's my point? My point is that if you start from day one to do it right, it goes right and everybody thinks it's easy. When you're running it and it's right, everybody thinks it's easy. They don't know it's your skills and your hard work. It's just like a good mechanic when he fixes your vehicle. And the bad one, when he tries to fix it, then you have more problems. So it's that simple. We must, let me use another authority. Let me not quote myself. The former rep to the UN for Singapore, who is a Lim Kuan Yew henchman, he said they did 3 things that took Singapore from third world to first world. He said the first thing is merit. That's what you don't want to hear in Nigeria. What you want to hear is that my in-law is the minister. Nobody wants to hear merit. He said the first thing they did was merit. He said the second thing was integrity. The second thing is they said that we were not constrained by ideology. They did what was pragmatic. In other words, what will work? Let's do it. Whether it is ideologically west or east, we don't give a damn. What will work for Singapore? Which is a form of protectionism.
Yeah.
Which is what we advocated from day one. Even when I ran for president, that's what we said. We take specifically protectionist steps. So if the foundation, okay, look at the flip top you're doing. Is that not inefficiency? You run off left, you say no, let's run back. We shouldn't have run off left. We run out right. That's both incompetence, that's inefficiency, that's cost.
Okay, so before there's
now you want to do an contract. We don't even know where you want.
That's what I wanted to come to. The refinery.
Strange things.
So this refinery, they are calling for investors to come in and buy or invest or whatever term they want to use, because I want to restrict myself to their terms. Kaduna, because we've seen so many things. We follow this industry, so we understand how they speak this English. So what difference will it make? And do you think anybody is going to put their money in there?
Well, the first thing is that it's an admission of failure. So people like me who have been calling them failures in the media, they've just made me right. They have admitted that we are incompetent, we can't run it. Why can't you run it? Emuche was running it. The original generation of engineers. They ran that place with world-class performance. You didn't like them because they were professional. You found a way, ease them out, brought the anything can go kind of engineers. They ran down the whole place, which is what will naturally happen. So you don't have to be a prophet. You don't have to be telepathic to know what will happen. You bring in the wrong people, they run it down. When you started having political issues with the professionals who are running, tell you cannot do this. You cannot do this. If you do this, this will happen. You say these people, they're not listening to us. Who do they know I'm the minister? I'm going to remove them. Then you remove them. Then you bring all your in-laws who are completely not even suitable for the position. Then you give them big titles. Then they go to the media, take a scripted statement and read. The media say, okay, very good, very good, very good. They have good plans. And then the whole place collapses. So it's that simple. You have to get it right. And the ultimate resource.
Mr. Novo,
yes.
Winding down. So we know sometimes, Kyle, do you know, sometimes we know that when some people are talking, we know they don't have a clue of what they are saying. So we're talking solutions now. It's our country at the end of the day. We're patriotic people. This is our investment. Kaduna, Port Harcourt, Warri, all of this. Even the Dangote refinery, even if it's owned by Dangote, it's our investment.
This is our own.
Yeah.
How do we make it work? 3 things.
It's very simple.
In bullet points.
Leadership. You can't do without that. Let me tell you, like I said, whoever is sitting in Aso Rock is chief responsibility officer. Leadership. And the only option, if you make me GMD of NNPC, the only option I have if I disagree with him is to resign. That's the only option. And you know that's not our culture. Oh, okay, the DSS just resigned. Okay, so maybe we're learning it. If you can't cope with your boss, you leave. He doesn't leave. If you can't cope with your boss, you leave. So what happens in Nigeria? They stay. And they start doing the wrong things, even when they know it's wrong. Then some of them don't even know which is worse. Because if you know, then you can mitigate. if you are staying. So it's that simple. And Achebe has told us before the trouble with Nigeria. And he told us in 1983. And I'm repeating here, he's late. I'm repeating, that's the trouble with Nigeria. That's my experience. And I'm not the only one. Everybody has confirmed it.
Mr. Martin Onovo, we could actually spend a day talking about this. And I don't want it to be as though we'll keep doing this again. There are filling stations right now that don't even have petrol. The ones we saw...
Majority don't have.
Majority. The ones we still... That one we saw at least has some semblance of petrol. But we don't know for how long, seeing that queue. So if it's just 30 seconds, how can we get products?
Simple
to
now.
filling stations that don't have petrol?
Simple.
Quickly.
For those filling stations, they get from depot. But the depot has to have. If the depot doesn't have, the depot has to be supplied. And the depot has to be supplied by imports. So you have to have a vessel with products that will supply to the depot so that the tankers can go to the depot, pick up and bring to the filling. It's that simple.
So when we say that now there are issues, there's debt, are you advising NNPC to borrow, NNPC Limited to borrow?
It's not that I'm advising them. If the situation is true, that's the only option. You can't shut the economy down.
Where can they borrow from?
Where have they been borrowing from before?
Back loans.
Where have they been borrowing from? They borrowed from Afro-Exim, they borrowed from China, they borrowed from World Bank. Where have they not been borrowing from before? How did you get to 120-something trillion debt? They've been borrowing. Go and borrow. Let's get the fuel. Because how do we pay the debt? We have to be productive to pay the debt. So you go and borrow another one. This is silly. But when the money is borrowed, you are doing 80 billion naira road with 1 trillion. Then you'll be looking for money. Let us continue. Let's be making a fool of ourselves until we all perish in this.
You know, the plan with September...
We will not perish.
The plan with,
let me say it like a Nigerian, we will not perish.
I pray we do not.
The plan for September is to have, start on a good note, clean slate. But September is going to be a September to remember clearly.
This is September.
But we have to thank you so much.
This is September. Today is September.
By the way, someone put up on X that you're a very brilliant engineer. They all worked with you and you in Mobile producing Eket, and they can testify to this. Thank you so much for your time. We're speaking with Mr. Martin Onovo, petroleum engineer. Thank you.
Thank you very much.